You're walking home from the grocery store, bags in hand, when suddenly a police officer steps in front of you. Your heart pounds as you greet him, but instead of a normal exchange, he gives you a hard stare and asks, "Are there any drugs in your grocery bags?" Wait, hold on a second. You're completely confused and don't know how to react to such an absurd question. Now hold up, before you even try to answer, let's talk about our secret strategy for dealing with these ridiculously dumb, but possibly serious questions. Trust me, you need to hear this. Have you ever heard about the phishing strategy that some officers use? Listen to the shocking first trick attentively. Just real quick before we jump into that, always remember, the first and simplest way to deal with any questions cops ask you is always don't say anything at all. I know, I keep repeating this fact in every single one of my YouTube videos, but believe me, it's the only way to keep you safe whenever you encounter any police officer. Here's the thing, do you believe the cops actually want to hear in return when they ask something like, "Where are you going? Where are you coming from?" Let's take a look at how you can outsmart police officers' dumb questions. So picture this. You're driving down the highway when suddenly you hear a police siren behind you. They signal you to pull over to the side of the road. As the officer approaches you, the first thing he asks is, "Hey man, how you doing today? Do you know why I pulled you over?" Do you really think the police want to hear an honest answer from you or a story like, "Hey, I'm good, man, I don't know"? You think they want to hear about how your day went? Of course not. Here's the secret that a lot of people don't know. Police actually use this as a tactic in the hope of getting something, anything out of you. It's called phishing. They just set the bait by asking a question. Now, whether you take that bait or not is 100% up to you. But wait, there's more here. Notice how I didn't say, "I don't know," right? And that's because "I don't know" can be twisted into, "I wasn't paying attention to my driving." You see how sneaky this game of cat and mouse can get. If you slip up and start chatting, "Oh, I was speeding, I'm so sorry," you've just handed them a confession. That "sorry" could turn a warning into a ticket faster than you can say "Leadfoot." Now, don't take my word here. Just watch some footage where a police officer pulled over a girl and she gave honest and detailed answers to their questions.
Officer Smith, Bentonville Police Department.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Smith.
I've never heard that before in traffic stop. I appreciate that. Hey, so I'm just stopping you for improper lane use.
Sorry, I was on the phone.
You're on the phone?
I'll be honest.
Okay. Who are you on the phone with?
My baby daddy. I'll show it to you too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zachary?
Yeah. You can talk to him if you want.
Where are you coming from?
I'm coming from JJ's. I just got off. I'm going to street.
Are you watching? How is she nervous about giving out all the details and letting officers find probable cause against her? You know, the cops, they just keep asking her a few more questions and at last find a reason to arrest her because she wouldn't stop talking.
What time did your shift end at JJ's?
It ended at 10:30.
Okay. Did you have to clean up and all that
Yep.
stuff? Okay. How much do you have to drink tonight?
Only one drink.
Just one drink?
Yep. Yes,
Final
sir.
answer?
Miller.
A Miller Lite?
Yes. I won't lie to you, a Miller Lite.
So, what exactly should you do when officers start asking questions and phishing? Nothing at all. You don't have to say anything, just plead the fifth and stay quiet. Now here, there's a couple of smart tips that you need to remember. Keep your hands visible on the steering wheel and turn on your interior lights if it's dark outside. It puts the officer at ease and could help prevent the encounter from escalating as long as you don't have anything in plain view that could get you arrested. So this is a little bit of a contradictory debate, whether you can lie to a police officer or not. If you don't know the answer, the second strategy is going to help you out. Here's the thing, it's a known fact that the police can 100% lie to you. It's crazy, but they can and will ask you manipulative questions to find probable cause against you. If you want some proof, watch this footage where an officer's lying to a person so that he can say something contradictory.
Okay, and you don't live here.
Do you have a reasonable suspicion?
The reasonable suspicion is that the possibility that you could be a thief in this area.
I have explained to you what I'm doing.
I want to know who I'm dealing with. You could be an axe murderer. Okay?
So could you?
Yeah. No, not in my uniform.
Yes,
I'm
you
at
could.
work. No.
But whether you lie or not depends on the situation that you're in. You can actually lie to cops if they're investigating something that you have allegedly committed. Let's say you were drinking before driving, and now if police ask you questions like, "Where are you going? Where you coming from? Have you been drinking? You can lie to them about these basic questions. However, if you give them false information like you didn't do it, but somebody else did the crime, you're actually making them write a false report and they can start investigating the false report. So in this sense, things could go south for you pretty fast. You'll not be charged with any crime until or unless police actually find out that you were lying. Now, when exactly can't you lie? Well, it's actually illegal to lie when cops are investigating somebody else's crime and they come to you and ask questions as a witness. If you lie here, they're going to find out the truth and you're going to be charged with false information according to the law. Sometimes telling lies about others' crimes is considered to mean that you're covering up for them or you're implicated and involved. So what's the best way to deal with cops' questions if they're asking you about somebody else? Just zip it. Don't say anything. You don't have to. Because if you lie to keep yourself out of trouble through a series of lies, the police will eventually figure it out. Don't forget that they're actually trained to detect lies, and if they catch you, it could be a severe problem for you. So, the major key takeaway is to avoid talking at all or telling the truth if officers ask you questions about somebody else's crime. If it's about you personally, you can lie a little bit. Otherwise, just plead your fifth and take your chances. By now, you know the easiest solution is to just plead the fifth or stay quiet. But what if they keep on insisting that you talk or answer questions? Well, here's our next strategy. Just ask them, am I free to leave? Let's say, for example, you're out for a stroll and suddenly a cop approaches you and says something like, "Hey you, what are you doing in this neighborhood?" Now, do you really have to answer this question? As we discussed before, you've got the right to remain silent. Instead of telling them what you were doing or why, just plead the fifth. See, cops have this tactic called consensual encounter, where they rely on your cooperation without explicitly detaining you. You see, in such scenarios, they're basically trying to find probable cause against you, but they're only going to get the result they're looking for if you speak to them. And since policing is a for-profit business venture in this country, by stopping and engaging, the risk increases that you get yourself in trouble. So, let's say the officer seems really super nice and you decide to chat and say, "Hey, I'm just out for a walk." You might think that you're being helpful and there's no harm in telling the officer what you're doing here. But here's the twist. Cops often use the mirroring technique by repeating your words to you. Now, why do they do that? Because when they repeat the same words, they hope that you keep going and elaborate on the situation more, like why you're here specifically in this neighborhood on a walk. If you think police questions are just dumb and you're just standing there for no reason, use your power card and ask, "Officer, I appreciate your concern, but I have to ask, am I being detained? Am I free to go?" Now, two things might happen. Police have to answer your questions and tell you whether you're detained or not. And you've also got to know that cops cannot detain you anywhere for a long period of time without probable cause. In this situation where police saw you just walking, don't give them enough cause to suspect you for anything and detain you. Your answer also reminds officers that you know your rights and that they can't detain you for no reason at all. If they say you're free to go, say thank you and slowly continue your walk. To learn how this situation works, watch this short footage.
Am I being detained or am I free
You're
to
not
go?
being detained. You can leave if you want to, yes.
Okay, thank you.
But the second situation could be that the officers detain you for no reason. They could say that you're not free to go and have to answer their questions. In this situation, implement your First Amendment right and start recording your interaction with the officers. They might be detaining you for no reason, so you need the footage to sue them later on. Moreover, invoke your fifth right to remain silent and sixth to call your attorney. If you don't have an attorney, you can request a public defender. Verbally invoke all of these rights as this person is doing in this footage.
And I'm not done with my investigation, sir. How about you identify you?
I have a First Amendment right to be, tell me? I have a Fourth Amendment right to be secure in my papers and not to identify to you.
So you don't want to give me your information then?
Now, what if you heed our advice and you remain silent when officers stop and ask you questions? In certain situations, cops will let you leave as soon as you plead the fifth, but some remain persistent and make you feel guilty for invoking your rights. They just keep on asking you questions back to back, and how do you respond to that? Let's say cops are suspicious about something, and now they want enough probable cause to assure that you've committed a crime. Here, they're going to use persistent questioning tactics to bait you so that you blurt out the truth. They may ask tons of questions and won't stop their questioning even if you invoke your right to remain silent. They keep saying things like, "Come on, buddy, if you've got nothing to hide, why won't you just answer my questions? What are you trying to cover up?" Or, "If you haven't done anything illegal, why not answer our question?" Here, cops try to use a classic guilt trip to make you feel like you're committing a crime by remaining silent. Some will switch to a stern tone and command you to answer them if you don't want to go to jail. However, you don't have to feel guilty at all. Don't fall into their trap. You've got the full right to stay silent and invoke your fifth. The best thing you can do here is just politely say, "Officer, I understand you're doing your job, but I'm invoking my right to remain silent and my right to call an attorney. I won't be answering any questions without legal representation." Here's a little known fact. Once you invoke these rights legally, the questioning should stop. If it doesn't, any answers you give might be inadmissible in court. But let's say you start talking under pressure. Even innocent statements can be trouble. Cops are trained in statement analysis, looking for inconsistencies or signs of deception. Your nervous rambling could sound suspicious even if you've done nothing wrong. So the key takeaway here is to never get pressured or feel guilty and start giving statements. Remain calm and cool while interacting with cops. So, what's the best way to deal with cops' dumb questions? Let's recover all of the tips we've discussed in the entire video. Don't talk at all. Don't engage with the cops, even in small talk. You can lie only a little bit in response to basic questions about yourself, but if cops are making a report against somebody else, you should never give false information. After invoking your right of silence, ask them whether you're free to leave or not. If they detain you, use your first, fifth, and sixth rights appropriately. Never fall into the guilty trap or feel pressured to respond in case of persistent questioning. If you'd like to know more about your rights, go ahead and check out this video, and we'll see you next time.